Hello and welcome to Lisa's Stamp Studio. My name is Lisa Curcio. This is a YouTube live event, and today is Monday, November 23rd, and the year is 2020. Whether you are here watching the replay or you have joined me for the live, I'm so glad that you've come by to watch. Thank you for being here with me. I've got a really cool layering circles card for you today. Now, you may have seen layered circles cards. They're kind of making a comeback, and they aren't new, but they are getting popular once again. And tonight's demonstration is going to focus on something a little different than what you may have already seen. I'm going to give you very explicit cutting directions for this card, but I have two other samples that I'm going to be sharing with you. So I'd love to have you stay with me to the end of the video so that you get to see everything that I have created for you. Now, remember, after tonight's live is over, you'll find a link down in the video description below, which is underneath the title, which will navigate you over to my website. There you'll find the cutting dimensions, the pictures, of course, all the supplies. Also, while you're there, sign up for my free weekly e-newsletter because I actually give you a free tutorial in that newsletter that is not shared on my other platforms. It's just a freebie for you. There's no obligation whatsoever. Okay, couple housekeeping items. I would love to have you chat with us during tonight's live, or perhaps you would like to comment. I read every single one. So please leave a comment and chat along the way. In order to do so, you will need to log into your YouTube account, which is the required Gmail address by YouTube. So they're going to require you to do that in order to do that talking or that chatting. And then finally, I want to introduce you to Megan. You'll see Megan's name here in blue during the live chat, and she's here to help answer your questions because honestly, there is no way that I can keep up while I'm trying to stamp and construct and be able to catch all your comments. Okay, I think we're all ready. Are you guys ready to get started on tonight's gorgeous birthday card? Are you ready for some sparkle? I know that I am. I'm going to turn the camera down. I'm going to get you all zoomed in. Here we go. So far, it appears that YouTube is actually cooperating tonight. Boy, the last couple times have been rough, haven't they? You might be looking at this going, oh, that is so cute and cheerful. And I want to share this with you before we go too far. I've got all my stamping stuff here ready. Tomorrow is a one-day only sale, November 24th, 2020 only. Stampin' Up! Is doing 10% off. Are you ready? 790 products in the annual catalog, which looks like this. Okay, amazing, amazing, amazing. And I offer my customers additional exclusive rewards if they use my host code. You'll be able to find that over on my website. The host code is right in the menu. It's right there, nice and easy for you. But tomorrow is a big day, so get your wish list ready. And for those of you that have family members that are wondering what you want, give them your wish list and you'll be ready to go. So that's tomorrow only. All right, let's get busy. Check out this gorgeous rainbow paper. Isn't this pretty? This is actually called rainbow glimmer paper, and you can actually see why. Isn't this pretty? The one great thing I love about it, no mess. Look at this. I'm rubbing pretty vigorously. No mess whatsoever. So I took this and I came up with something a little bit out of the box. So let me show you what I did. I actually chopped it up into sections, and I pulled out one of my very favorite die sets. This is the layering circles dies. And I love these because you're going to get both the graduated sizes of the regular circles as well as the scallops. I have to tell you, I use these so much. They actually have two sets here in the studio. I use this more than anything because I cannot cut a perfect circle. Can any of us? So that's what I've used for my layering circles birthday card tonight. So let me just set those aside. And then what I did is I cut up that paper. Let me show you. I cut it into sections. So don't think you've got to use the whole thing in a rainbow format because this is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So I've got a larger circle here and then a slightly smaller circle here. These are about an 1/8 inch difference. And then the final one is this one. Let's see if I can get them all inside your camera view. Yep, I think I can. I love these because look how I can strategically place this to maximize my paper. You can see the graduation of color here. So if you have scraps, this is a great way to utilize them, especially when you're looking in tones. Now I did pass these through my die cutting machine right before you joined me. So I'm going to pop those out. I'm going to set those dies aside. And I'm going to show you, hey, don't throw these away. Wouldn't this be fun to put a greeting behind here or an image and use these on other cards? I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for new ways to use those scraps so there's little to no waste. So we've got 4 circles here. Now you're going to notice too that there is a definition of color on these. If you look really, really closely, I'm going to try to bring it just a little bit closer so you can see a little better. For the card that I'm going to do for you today, you're not going to want to just chop these up with your scissors without measuring, okay? But I have several others that are way easier without planning. And I'm going to give you some Lisa hints along the way. They're just things that I did. Quite frankly, I hate measuring. Is there anybody out there with me who doesn't like to measure either? I don't. But for this specific layout, you're going to need to know where the halfway mark is. And I'm going to give you another tip. Don't ever be afraid to experiment with what I give you. So don't think it's got to be precise. So if one area is a little bigger than the other, totally fine. All right. So what I did initially was I took the circles and I flipped them over. Let's use this bigger one as an example. And I took my ruler and I was like, okay, let's find the center. Okay, this is what, 2¼ ish. So that's going to bring us about here. And I put a dot. I hate measuring, like I said. So you know what I did? This is what I did. I turned them upside down and I took out my silicone craft sheet. All right. And then I took the next size, which is here, and I flipped it over and I added my Stamp and Seal Plus on the back. Now, you might not think that adhesive is going to stick to here, but it works really, really well. Do you see how this side is blue and this side is more green? Well, I use that to my advantage. And you're going to see that this side is a little bit more bluish purple, and this one is a little bit more of that rich raspberry color. So I kept with that continuity and I layered it here. So I'm looking to leave that same margin of the circle all the way around, the very best that I can. Okay. Then I went ahead and I did the next one. All right. So I think you know where I'm going with this. So these ended up all lining up together. So let me show you. And then I've got my last one here. I've done this in stages to make it easier for you. Okay, here's that last one. This is actually the one I'm going to use on my card. Again, do you see how all my darker colors are on one side? And I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to keep the orange over here. So let's add some adhesive to this last one. And let's place that here. Again, keeping that 1/8 inch margin. The Stampin' Trimmer is my best friend. But I'm going to be honest with you, it does not cut through this many layers of glimmer paper very, very well. So I had this ingenious idea, which didn't work out very well, to use my favorite long tipped scissors and just eye this in half on that mark that I made. Well, do you want to know what happened? Let me show you. Look, as straight as I thought I cut, it's really not very straight, is it? Now you might be looking at it thinking, yeah, it looks pretty good. And I think I probably could get away with it. But if I would have measured, I would have been very, very, very precise. So that's one tip I want to give you about this specific layout. This is going to work for the other layouts I'm going to share with you. And I want to teach you both ways because I know that you're going to go crazy trying this. This is so much fun. All right, so let me set those off to the side. And then I had another example here. So let me show you what I did with these. I cut all those circles, all of these individual circles in half, okay? And then I layered them one at a time. I found this actually easier for me. I don't know why, it just was, but I want to give you lots and lots of options. So let's start with this one and let me show you how we did the halves. This edge for tonight's card is going to be super important. So let me flip these over. We've got that rich raspberry. Let's add the adhesive here. So we've got a couple different ways we can do this, right? We can adhere them all together, chop them in half. Or what we can do is we can measure them all, chop them in half, which is what I did on this one. Well, this is sticking to my silicone sheet. Okay, let me show you. This edge, very, very important. You are going to want to make sure that these are equal here. You're also wanting to make sure you've got that 1/8 inch margin all the way around your circle. That's going to be important for this card. And then I'm going to add a little bit here. I already did the other half for you, so we're not going to have to do both of these together. And I'm going to layer this one here. Again, butting up this edge as closely as possible, looking to align it. That looks pretty good. And then here's my last one. And then I'm going to add adhesive. Did you notice too how I tried to put all the darks on one side and all the lights on the other? I was trying hard to do that. Keep in mind, you can use solid colors here in a graduation. So all blues, all greens, that kind of thing. All right, so let's work with these to put the card together. Let me push all those other pieces off to the side. I'm going to move you out just a little bit so that you can see what I've done next. I'm going to bring in a piece of Whisper White cardstock. And I cut this on a panel. And I'm going to actually take 1/2 of this, the darker half, and I'm going to adhere that here. This is why that straight edge is really important. Remember I told you I cut one of these by half and half and it wasn't really, really straight. That's going to be okay for the other layouts. But let's go with the real straight one that I know I cut in half perfectly. And let's add our adhesive to the back side. This is going to get layered here. So I'm going to leave a little bit of that white showing. I'm making sure my glimmer paper is coming all the way to the edge because this is going to create a beautiful 3D look when we're all finished. So I've got this one here. All right, then I decided I wanted a layer of basic black cardstock underneath here just to give this a really cool border. This is a very thin margin of cardstock. This is also about 1/8 of an inch. Sometimes that black just really can make things pop, can't it? And that's exactly what I wanted to do here. I'm going to lay it on the silicone craft sheet for you because I think that's a little bit easier to see than that black grid mat. And I'm looking to leave that border all the way around. And I can't do too many things straight, so I probably should turn this horizontally. It's another one of my tips for you. All right, now let's go work on the base of the card where this is all going to come together. The base of my card today, I cut 4 1/4 by 11. I did score it in half before you joined me. So I'm going to go ahead and fold on that score line. And I've got my bone folder here. I'm a big fan of my bone folder for those nice crisp edges. Do you see this? All right, next thing we're going to do before we started hearing this is I knew I wanted to put a greeting on here. And I really didn't want to take it away from this side of the card. So I decided, you know what? There's a good spot here. Let's do that. So I took the word birthday and I actually stamped it here. This is from the stamp set called Well Said. Really one of my favorites because look at it. It is huge. Lots and lots and lots of greetings, both for the outside and for the inside. And you can custom build your phrases. So you can see how you can mix and match these words together. But the other great thing about the stamp set is it actually has a coordinating die set called Word Wishes. And I want to give you another tip. If you ever buy these greeting dies and you're like me and you're like, what does this say? It's backwards. I actually flipped it over and I printed actually from my online store what that text was so I could actually see it. So I knew which ones were in here when I was glancing through my dies. So I knew I wanted the word birthday to go with this. So I took this greeting, so just a scrap piece of Whisper White. I got a little bit of black there just to border it, just for some continuity on this layer. I'm going to flip this over and we're going to add some adhesive to the back. All right. This now is going to go here near the bottom of this panel. I'm just looking to align the sides. I'm going to need some more room here for that die. So I'm just looking left and right to try to make this as straight as possible. All right, well, that looks fairly decent. Well, not really. Look at that. All right, so I'm going to give you another tip. Has this ever happened to you? This is not frustrating. All right, use this as a guide to fix your mistakes. Let's move this underneath here so you can see it better. I'm taking my scissors and I'm trimming from the back. So now from the front, it looks more even. The beauty of this one is because I have a black cardstock layer, it's really not going to be very, very noticeable. You know, Megan shared a phrase with me last week that I have adopted. Thank you, Megan. She says, if you can't see it from 6 feet away, it doesn't count. So I'm going with that. All right, let's go ahead now and let's work on the die cut greeting for this. And you're going to see here the die is really, really narrow. Do you see how fine this is? Who wants to put glue on that? I know I don't. So I broke out my adhesive sheets and my cardstock. And let me show you how slick these work together. Let me bring in that silicone craft sheet once again. I actually measured a piece of cardstock where this is going to fit really nicely in the center. And then this is one of the adhesive sheets. They come large. I just chopped it up. There's a seam here on the back. The sticky is not here. It's here. And it is sticky, and it's for a good reason because it's going to do all the work for us. I'm going to put that right here. Okay, you can see how it's webby, a little bit sticky. It rubs right off. We're going to take that other side now, and we're going to put it here. So I'm just kind of attaching it. If you have a little area that's not covered, don't sweat it. It's okay. Now, let me tell you too, I've learned the hard way. You have to turn this piece over. All right, let's see if I can get underneath there on my silicone craft sheet. That's slippery. You have to turn this over before you put the die on top, before you die cut it. Otherwise, it's going to be a mirrored image and you're going to have the adhesive on the wrong side. And then when you're all finished, it's going to look like this. And you can see some of the paper is already coming loose, which is totally fine. It's going to work to our advantage. And we're going to add this now to this layer. So I don't have to fuss with glue, which I love. So let's see if I can do this while you're all watching me because this is a little bit detailed. Let me grab my take your pick tool. That paper piercing tool attachment on this is like my best friend. I love, love, love this thing. It's kind of like a pair of hands for me. I keep my fingernails fairly short because they're always full of ink. And this allows me to kind of get into areas and lift up that paper where I can't get my fingernails under. And it's a lot pointier and a lot longer than I could ever get to. And there's a small piece here. This is where that seam was when I die cut it. This is going to make things a lot easier for you. And please keep in mind, this is really small. You may be working with die cut pieces that are a lot bigger, but they're really detailed. And that's where these adhesive sheets work in beautifully. So I'm just going to add that right here above the stamped birthday, and we're going to tack that in place. All right, card base is here. Let's go ahead and add this together. The beauty of this comes with dimensionals because we want that 3D look. So I'm going to flip this upside down. I'm grabbing my dimensionals here. Don't be chintzy. Whenever you're looking for that elevation, you want to make sure that your panel is well balanced, especially if you're going to mail your card. The post stuff is a real number on your cards. I love to use that take your pick tool attachment again, just to help me remove those paper backings. That makes it quick and easy and also kind of corrals them all together, which makes cleanup a breeze. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to the far right side of my card. I am looking to leave, about the same amount of space at the top and the bottom as I am here at the right. And again, remember I told you I can't do too many things straight. So I'm using that grid map, and typically it's my grid paper. And I didn't use it tonight because it's white on white, and I thought that would be difficult for you to see. All right, so we've got that tacked here. All right, here's where the layering circles come in. I am using this edge to mimic this edge. So where these circles end, these circles are going to pick up. Look at this. All right, let's go ahead and add the adhesive to this. Remember that your raw edges on this specific layout are actually going to be visible. So you're going to want to make them as straight as possible. And your trimmer is going to be good for that if you cut them individually. It's too thick for the Stampin' Trimmer to be done as a whole. I've tried. It didn't work out really well for me. So I'm looking here to make sure that my circles are going to align. I'm tucking it just slightly underneath that edge, and we're going to press. Now, this in itself is gorgeous, perfect. But if you've watched any of my videos, you know how much I absolutely love bling. So let's go ahead and let's work with these beautiful artistry blooms sequins. Now, I love these because there's glue dots already on the back. And the great thing about these is look at the meridian colors. I mean, I'm covered here. I've got a little bit of everything. So let's do this. Let's take that take your pick tool again. I've got a little paper there. Let me remove that. And let's grab one of those. So that glue dot's going to stick here. Let's put one here. And let's go to one of those other darker ones. I think this is a little bit darker. Yeah, that picks up that glimmer paper beautifully, doesn't it? And let's place this one here. What should we do? Should we do one of the darker ones or should we do one of the blue ones? Let's do one of the blue ones. Let's live a little, right? Have a little bit more exciting color. There we go. And I'm going to put this one here. I always like to create a triangle formation because it tends to be a little bit more interesting for the eye. But I want to show you, look, this is why that straight edge is really important. If I had used the one I cut by hand, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, I've been trying to show you, it's not even. And that really would be noticeable along this edge. But let me share something with you that's even easier yet, because this is the one I wanted to teach you if you hadn't learned how to do it. All right, the other one I have to share with you is actually a Christmas card. And here, you just chop those circles right in half. You know why? Because this strip of where your greeting is going to hide any imperfections. So this can be gauged depending on the depth. You're going to see that they're not perfect. If you look really closely, you're going to see that this is a little shallower here than this. It's okay. And if you cut them crooked, make these shallower and these wider. Can you just imagine how cool that would look? Really fun. And then I added some of those wonderful gems here to pick up that sparkle. That tin tile embossing folder, I was really challenged with that, wondering if it was going to work with this, and I really like it. And the way this card works is like this. So the red is actually just a flat card base for this card. So there's two for you. I've got one more. This card uses all one color of cardstock, and I did these specifically different so that you could get a huge range of ideas. So again, I've used 4 different colors of yellow and a graduation of hues. The same die set did the word happy. I did the exact same way I did here, was with the adhesive sheets. I stamped the greeting above this panel. This is more forgiving than this, not as forgiving as this. You know why? Is because this is mounted right at the separation line. So if it's not perfect, it's really an illusion to your eye. And then, of course, I use some of those really cute little embellishments with the stars on them just to create a really funny, cute birthday card or even a congratulations card. So there we go. We've got 3 samples for you using this layering circles technique. They're all vastly different. So you're going to want a nice half edge here or a graduation of sizes. This one, your greeting can go on an angle, or of course it can go straight. That's pretty intuitive. And then of course this one, you can use your die cuts as just a focal point here to separate those. Isn't that fun? All right, I want to share a couple things with you. Let me turn the camera around. Okay, well, one of the things I wanted to share with you is, Thanksgiving is this week. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. Things are a little bit different this year, aren't they, with the pandemic? I know this is always a tradition. We've always traveled to visit my mom and stepdad, and we can't go this year. I live in Florida. They live in Las Vegas. There's not going to be any traveling. And of course, as my mom's getting older, we want to make sure that we keep her really healthy so that we can be with her next year. But in the spirit of giving, because Christmas is going to soon be upon us, I have an additional promotion coming through Lisa's Stamp Studio that's going to be coming to you on Cyber Monday. All right, so I've got some graphics here. All right, Cyber Monday. It's one day only at Lisa's Stamp Studio, which is Monday, November 30th. Now, this is completely separate from the one I just shared with you previously for the online extravaganza sale that's tomorrow. These are both only one-day events for online orders only. So tomorrow it's 10% off 790 products. Oh, don't we wish it was dollars? 790 products over on my online store at lisastampstudio.com. I offer exclusive rewards to you. But you ready for Cyber Monday? Not only are you going to get to shop, but with a $75 product order on Cyber Monday, you're going to get an exclusive private Live with Lisa event. You're going to get a free product gift list, and you're also going to get an exclusive bundle of PDF tutorials that I put together for you. Super simple. Look how easy it is. Love the graphics. I don't know about you, but I'm a picture kind of girl. All you have to do is order your $75 in product online, pay. Yep, check out, and then we will send the PDF tutorials to you. So don't forget tomorrow, and don't forget Cyber Monday. Now, the reason I wanted to share them both with you now is because if you're like me, it'd be like, gosh, I wish I knew so I could decide which one I want to take advantage of. That's why I wanted to share it with you. I wanted you to be able to make a very calculated decision on when you wanted to purchase and how much you wanted to purchase and those things that you needed. So it's entirely up to you. So I like giving you as much advance notice as possible. Tomorrow, of course, is a big day with that 10% savings. But then, of course, Cyber Monday at Lisa's Stamp Studio. This is our first time doing this, and I'm really excited about the extra benefits I'm going to be able to give to you on November 30th. Remember, one day only for each of those. Okay, now before we go, I want you to do me a favor and mark your calendar because I'm going to come back live with you next Wednesday. Can you believe already? It's December 2nd. I'm looking at my calendar. It's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, I would love to have you do so that you don't miss out on the notifications. But you've got to click that little bell icon that's next to the subscribe button so that you'll get those reminders. And I hope that you'll be here with me because I have to say, this card kind of has my heart next week. And I'll be introducing some other fabulous projects for you just in time for Christmas, giving you plenty of time to get these beauties done in time. All right. Thank you, Megan, for all your hard work. And I look forward to seeing you all with me next Wednesday, December 2nd. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Stay healthy and stay safe. I'm so thankful for each of you. Bye-bye.